Good morning, everybody. We are back with Rut Manufacturing. We are up in Eden, North Carolina, right outside Danville. If you guys are familiar with that area, I'm a bit outside my normal environment, but we're up here in the woods, and I got a machine behind me with a mulcher on it, and we're gonna be doing a really cool video today. So I made a video a couple months back about the difference between a drum mulcher and a brush cutter. It was like an hour-long video. It didn't get a whole lot of views, but it answered a lot of the questions that I get from a lot of people about getting into this business. Should I get a drum mulcher? Should I get a brush cutter? What can each one do? What they're good for, what they're not good for, capabilities, price, all that different stuff. So Ira over at Rut Manufacturing saw that video and got a great idea about, let's do a video between a disc mulcher and a drum mulcher. And I thought that was an awesome idea. I have personally never run a disc mulcher, so we're gonna get to run a disc mulcher today, grind some trees, have some fun. I got the disc mulcher's already hooked up to the machine. We're gonna go over it real quick. The drum mulcher's right here on the trailer. We'll show you all that really quick too. And then we're gonna go find some stuff to grind. So let's take a look at what we got, and then we'll go grinding. All right, Ira, what we got here?
All right, this is our 60-inch disc mulcher. We've been making this now for about 4 years. But it's got a lot of Quadco teeth. We got 12 of the Quadco teeth out here on the outside. We got the teeth on the top and the bottom. So this thing is teeth all over it. It weighs about 2,800 pounds. And this unit, we can put these on machines from about 30 gallons a minute up to 50 gallons per minute. As far as the amount of stuff it'll cut, we can cut up the 14-inch diameter stuff right here on the front, just going right in and chopping it right off. And then on the suction side, we rate it more around 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches. It's really according to the type of material you're into, especially in your softwoods, your pines, and maybe your poplars and stuff like that. It's gonna, you can do a little bit bigger diameter material. You get into your hardwoods like your hickories and your oaks, and it's just not going to do as good.
Gotcha.
On that. It's also got teeth on the inside of it that's mounted inside that helps shred the material up a lot better.
Okay.
And then on the output side, we have a little small angle piece that shoots the material down to the ground to keep it from flying out quite as far. Because that's been one of the concerns that a lot of people have with disc mulchers, is the amount of material and debris and how far it'll shoot it out.
Yeah.
You know, because the first one we made, we didn't put anything on there. And I've seen stuff shoot 300, 400, 500 foot, you know, the size of your leg.
Oh, wow.
You know, which could really freak somebody out.
Yeah.
So by putting the little angle deflector down to shoot the material down, it's eliminated a lot of that to where you don't have the flying debris, which is a lot of the main concerns when these things first came out. And it was, it's just one of those educational things, you know, okay, when we're building this stuff and we're learning how to do it, we've got to learn how to do it better and learn how to do it safer. And I feel like that's what we've come up with. We've got something that performs good and it is safe.
Gotcha. And a couple things on this when he's talking about the suction side. So on the drum mulchers, when they when they turn around, you're trying to suck the tree in. The drum is trying to suck the tree in, especially when you back drag, and it brings that material up through the drum and spits it out the front, and that's how it technically makes mulch. With these, they actually pull these Quadco teeth, especially the ones here on the top, actually pull the trees in this side, turn them up inside the housing, and spit them back out this way. So if you've ever seen that on YouTube before, I guess we'll see that today. I've never actually seen one of these things in action, but I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube. You'll just see a tree go in one side and you see a bunch of, a bunch of mulch come out the other.
A bunch of chips come out the other. It is one of the coolest things whenever, and there's a little technique to it. So when you get into it, when you go into the tree, you'll bring it into this side, and when you go into the tree, as soon as you go into it and you cut through it, you'll tilt back slightly. And then a lot of times if the tree's hung up in the top, you'll have to back up a little bit, but that helps it create the right angle that brings it in, sucks it out, and spits it out into a bunch of toothpicks.
There you go. And then these teeth, these teeth are these Quadco teeth. And if you saw my my video recently out there on the interstate right-of-way cutting, and the guy had the big feller buncher out there knocking down the big pine trees. These are the same teeth that are used on the feller bunchers that the loggers use out there to cut into the trees and push them over to actually fell the trees and get them down on the ground. These teeth are really, really aggressive. They will cut through a 14-inch tree very, very quickly. The guy out there with the feller buncher was knocking down trees well over 20 plus inches, some even 30, without much difficulty. And So these teeth are really designed to cut. And the cool thing about these teeth are, like with any mulcher manufacturer, TMC or Prenoth or Fecon, you typically have to go to them or order other teeth from an aftermarket supplier. You can get these Quadco teeth from any place that pretty much sells forestry equipment. So you could probably go down to like John Deere or Tiger Cat or Caterpillar that sells feller bunchers, and probably get these teeth if you need to. You know, if they came off or something like that and you were in a bind, and there was a dealer close that sold forestry stuff, they would probably have these teeth in stock. So there's not something that you've you know, you've got to order from some crazy place or wherever, order from the original dealer. So that's kind of cool too. Sometimes you might break a tooth or wear a tooth out or something like that and maybe not have a spare with you, and you know, may take a few days to get one. So that's the cool thing about those teeth, is they are pretty readily available. They're used in many different forestry applications. But this head, so like I said, 60 inches. This one is rated up to 40 gallons a minute. We are running, so we were running the little 6 yesterday. We got a TL12 high flow. This does what, 40 or 41 gallons a minute?
40 gallons.
40 gallons a minute. And so yeah, that's what we got. And then we've got the Rut Mulcher here. This is the same thing that I have. It's a TMC. It's pretty much the same exact mulcher that I've got. The only difference is they've got this one set up with carbides coming out a little further on the sides, and then the middle are knives, where mine is just all knives. So the middle does the cutting, and then you got these carbides over here for your ground engagement stuff. But this is the same exact head. So we're gonna run the disc mulcher for a bit, see what it can do, and then we're gonna run this for a bit and just kind of go over some of the pros, cons, differences, and stuff like that for all you guys out there that have questions and are thinking about maybe getting into this industry, or already have maybe a disc mulcher and want to go to a drum, or vice versa. So we'll go over all of that, and hopefully this video will be fun but also educational. So let's go find some stuff to grind. in. Oh, there it went. Got it. There's a little bit of a trick to doing that. But once you get it, you can make quick work of these trees. I mean, you can make quick work of them. Woo! Making mulch, baby! I have way too much fun at my job sometimes. Way too much fun. Trying not to knock over my GoPro over there on the tripod. Come on. Boom. I got that one mostly. It just destroys almost instantly. Oh, almost knocked the GoPro over right there. Almost got it. Come on, got it. See if I can beat this one. Oh yeah! Woo! Like a hot knife through butter. Oh no! Tripod is down. You guys okay in there? Instantly. Golly, that was a big one right there. All right, well, let's take a look at what we got. We came through here and ground up some trees, and one of the things I'm actually really impressed with is the mulch quality in here. I mean, you can see, which pines always typically do make good mulch quality, but I thought it would be, most of it would be in a lot bigger chunks, but I started back dragging that thing and putting it in the ground, and it really does a good job of vacuuming up that material and making it into some nice mulch. I mean, honestly, you can't tell a big difference through here, through most of this area that I really went over and processed between it and a drum mulcher, to tell you the honest truth. I mean, there are some big chunks I got flung off back that way, but a drum mulcher will throw that stuff too. But if I had gone through there and processed that down too, it would look like this area through here as well. So I left the head up here. I wanted to show you guys this. I didn't, when we were over there looking, I didn't even notice this, but there's the counter cutting teeth right there. So as this disc comes around and draws those trees in, they get ground up against those counter teeth right there, which actually helps further process the material. And then here's that downward deflector plate right here. So as those chips come out, they're getting to, most of those chips are getting deflected down into the ground and not thrown out so far. But don't get me wrong, it'll throw some stuff out there, but that really does help keep a lot of that stuff going back towards the ground. Obviously you can't make that deflector too small, because then it's going to start to bind with the material trying to come back out. You got to have a throat there to let that stuff come back out, but that definitely does help out a lot. But this thing is built like a tank. You can see all this is really thick construction of this thing, good full welds. Yeah, this thing, Annihilator is a very prompt description of this mulcher. I mean, and I'll say too, we were probably going through those trees and turn them into mulch much quicker than what a drum mulcher would probably do. And the other cool thing about this is, and I didn't do this because I didn't want to wear on the teeth too much, but if you have to, in certain situations, almost like you can with a brush cutter, you can actually tilt this head and angle it down into the ground. And if you need to stump cut something, you know, 2 or 3 inches below grade, you can stick that thing down into the ground and stump cut a tree and get those stumps below grade. Whereas on a drum mulcher, you're only going to be really able to go across the top of the ground and get it maybe pretty much flush, maybe slightly below flush with the ground. But with this, you can angle that thing right down into the ground and stump cut a lot better. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we'll go hook up the drum mulcher, run through some trees with it, and kind of give you guys a little difference on that and see what we can do. All right, we are back. We unhooked the disc mulcher. We got the drum mulcher hooked up, and this is the same TMC Cancela head that I have. It's just branded as a Rut Manufacturing head, and it's got the same exact head. Got the trap door, hard ox, flex steel. Like I said, the only real difference is it's got a few more carbides on it than mine does, but the center are knives. And so we're gonna come in here and chew up some trees and see how quick that goes. We'll run it for about 20 minutes, chew up some of these pines and make some mulch, and then we'll kind of go over, you know, some of the pros, cons of each one, some of the differences, where one would maybe work better than the other, and kind of give you guys some more information on that. And we'll, so let's just get in this thing and start grinding up some trees. All right, so we got all that mulch down. I did a few more trees with the TMC / Rut here. And first of all, I've never run one with a lot of carbides on it. And in these pines, I mean, it did really good job grinding all that stuff up. I actually used that side of the mulcher for a couple of the standing trunks there when I was pancaking them, and it went right through them pretty quick. And so here's the thing that we were just talking about before I turned the camera on. So if you're needing like this really nice laid down finish look, you know, this is probably your baby. But if you're just coming in here and you're just trying to get this stuff into pieces, you know, and it'll still be nice mulch. The disc mulcher is still gonna make nice mulch. But if you're doing like a backyard and you need this nice finished look, this is what you're going for. If you're out here on a hunting property and you just need this stuff on the ground in pieces, the disc mulcher is way faster, way faster. And one of the big reasons why is this head is 72 inches wide, and the entire thing is engaging the ground at one time all the time. With the disc mulcher, it's only 60 inches wide, and the hydraulic, you can tell a noticeable hydraulic difference in the hydraulic strain when you're back dragging or cutting or mulching the trees with the drum mulcher versus the disc mulcher. That disc mulcher sounded and felt like in the machine, it only really bogged down one time when I sucked in like one of those really big pines, and it didn't even stall it out. But it did kind of bog it down pretty good. But outside of that, it felt like it never slowed down. Just back dragging through here a little bit was you know, and back dragging some of those bigger laydowns that I had was putting a good bit of strain on the head and having to stop and let it kind of come back up. The other thing is, like, and I'll show you this, it's right here behind me, with these pines are real brittle, and when you're back dragging and you're trying to get that stuff to come through, as soon as the teeth try to grab those pieces of pines and pull them up into the drum, they just shatter and break. And a lot of times when you're back dragging, this is what you're left with right here. So this is the stuff that wouldn't go into the mulcher when I was back dragging right through here. So a lot of times you have to lift the head up and come back through here and go forward over it again, and maybe one time back to get it to grind up. The disc mulcher does not have that problem. When you back up, it's not dragging anything. It's picking up all that stuff, and you just touch that stuff with the bottom of that disc and boom, it's gone. It's in pieces, it's mulch. So I think, you know, we're gonna go back up there. We'll talk about both of them, but you know, they both definitely have their place for sure. We'll go over some more of the pros and cons and stuff like that. We'll go back up to the hill, but that was a lot of fun. I never kind of got to see a side-by-side comparison, you know, like run one and then hook up another one. So that was really interesting to be able to do that. And that was enjoyable. I hope you guys learned a lot from this so far. We're gonna go back up there and talk about some more of this stuff, but yeah, a lot of fun. This is an actual hunting property. Ira's brother hunts over here, and he's clearing this out, I guess, for a hunting spot / food plot. They're gonna come back through here with a dozer and rip up all the stumps. They've got a dozer with a ripper on the back, and come up here and get the stumps out, turn this into a food plot, I believe. But the fastest way to get these trees out of here, just mulch them down, and then they come back, clear the stumps out. So that was a lot of fun. Let's go talk about this stuff up at the hill. We'll kind of get some side-by-side comparisons, and if you guys, hopefully we'll be able to answer a lot of your questions as well when we do that. Well, there they are, side by side. We got them back up here to the hill. You guys can kind of see the size comparison there. There is definitely a weight difference between these two, you know, between 3,400 pounds and about 2,700 pounds. Obviously, if you're going to be running this TMC or there's Rut, it's you know, this drum mulcher, it really needs to be on a 100 horsepower machine that's got the weight to be able to deal with this head. I could tell a difference, a big difference. This TL12 handles the weight of this drum mulcher much better than my ASV does. But you could put this disc mulcher on a little bit smaller machine like a TL10, and I think it would handle the weight you know, pretty easily as far as that's concerned. But I think this would be too much weight for a TL10. So there is definitely a weight difference there. There's also definitely a maintenance difference in the cost here, where this has got 44 teeth on it, which is a lot of teeth to have to change and replace, and a lot of cost there with that. So the disc mulcher's got somewhere around 28 teeth, you know, so quite a bit difference in the amount of teeth that you got to change out and maintenance and things like that. But this right here is much, as far as just getting trees down on the ground into pieces, is much faster, and it puts a lot less hydraulic strain, it seems like, on the machine to be able to do the you know, as far as getting the tree down and on the ground and into pieces, it seems like that was a lot less work for this than for that. Now here's where your big differences come in. If you're trying to just mow down a large area, especially of smaller material, this being 72 or 3 inches wide, this is going to be your baby right here, because it's just wider. It's going to be a little bigger, a little bit more efficient in clearing out larger, wider areas. If you're just, you know, trying to clear cut, you know, smaller material over a large area, that's it. But if you're trying to go through something like this and just get bigger trees, selectively bigger trees on the ground and into pieces, this is probably a better option. And also up here in sort of the mountainous, you know, foothill areas where we're at here, they have, this is kind of more what I find in my area at the beach with a lot of these pine forests. But they also have a lot of nice, really nice hardwood forests here with a lot of hardwood trees in it that are more open, but just have a little more underbrush underneath them that needs to be cleaned out for a hunting area or something like that. This would actually be a better option for that because it's a little smaller, it's a little more compact. You can weave through those tighter trees and stuff like that. Be a little bit, this is more surgical. If you're going through and doing an underbrush area and you just want to selectively take out trees here and there to open up an area for a hunting area or a campsite or something like that, this is a better option because it's just lighter, it's smaller. You can just go up to a tree, boom, down, grind it down, clean it up, and then that's the one tree you want to get rid of, and that's done. And kind of go through an area and take out the trees that you need. It would do it very quickly, very efficiently. So both definitely have their place. I feel like I wouldn't say one, you know, it depends on your application where one would be better than the other. Overall, I don't think one is really better overall than the other. The only other real difference that this has is if you're doing residential work, if you're doing areas in a city or a municipality or around houses, having the trap door in the front to not be able to throw stuff is a pretty big advantage for the drum mulcher, which a lot of drum mulchers don't come with these front doors in the front, but these do, and that gives you a lot of flexibility. Obviously, you guys have seen me on my videos do a lot of work in and around the city right next to streets and roads and sidewalks and have no issue throwing stuff everywhere. But if you're out on a hunting property out in the middle of nowhere and throwing stuff anywhere is not a concern, and you're trying to clear out stuff like that, that's a much better option. And then you've also got a pretty big difference in cost here. What are we looking at in difference in cost, roughly?
17,000 versus 37,000.
All right, so 17 versus 37. So about a $20,000 difference here. So if you're someone who's got a hunting property or a farm or something like that, and you need the occasional mulching work done or want to go out and clear out some areas for you and your buddies on a hunting property, and maybe you've got a skid steer or your buddy's got a skid steer or whatever, you know, the difference in cost here is significant. You know, $20,000 is, at least to me, is not much to sneeze at, or is quite a bit to sneeze at. So, you know, that's a big difference in cost. And, you know, you could actually go into start doing some mulching work for a lot less money with that, you know, if the application is right, versus having to pay out much more money for a drum mulcher. So yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I think both have their place. Both have their advantages and disadvantages, so to speak. But they're both great products. You know, you don't see a whole lot of the disc mulchers out there, but you know, if I was clearing out something like that, you know, doing a lot of the more rural work where I had to clear out larger trees, that thing is much more powerful, I think, in doing that particular process right there. So I hope that gives you guys a really good overview and overall difference in you know, advantages, disadvantages versus these two. I've never got to really run a disc mulcher and see the differences up close on my own and talk about all the different pros and cons and between each two. So I hope this was very informative and educational for you guys. Big thanks to Rut Manufacturing for letting me come out and do these videos. There will be a link and description below to their website, phone number, all that good stuff if you guys want to contact them if you have any questions. So that's that, and more stuff to come, and I will check you guys on the next video. Bye everybody.